Alright, so part one was just meiosis. Now we're going to do meiosis with one little twist. We're going to add crossing over, which happens rarely during meiosis. So here's our normal chromosomes. So you can just draw those normal chromosomes in there, like I did there. So you have this big A and big R on one, little a, little r, and then your D's and H's. Alright, now what crossing over is crossing over is when these chromosomes switch places. Some pieces of the chromosome switch. So the genes will switch places. So these D's and H, let's look at these first. If I switch this little d with the big D, there would still be the same combination, little DH, big DH. So we're not going to move those. And if we switch the little h's, that's not anything. So we're going to look at just these chromosomes for crossing over. So if we switch the big A and the little the little a around, you're going to get a different combination. So what we have to do is you're going to have to cut your chromosomes in half to separate the big A from the big R. And this is actually what happens in real life. Our chromosomes actually get cut and they switch. So the little a goes with the big R and the big A goes with the little r. Alright, so then I'm just going to tape them together. And it doesn't have to be perfect as long as they're taped together in one perfect chromosome. Alright, so that's all crossing over is switching the genes on the chromosomes. Alright, so now you can look at our new cell. Are these two chromosomes the same, but now these two chromosomes are different. Instead of having two capital letters, we have a capital and a lowercase. And instead of having two lowercase, we have a capital and lowercase. So this is what we get. Over here, we get these different combinations. Alright, and then we go and we replicate our chromosomes. So just like before, this will make a copy and we'll have that one. This one will make a copy and we'll get this. And then these two will make copies. And again, I'm going to have to switch my chromosomes around here. And just like these, because they made a copy after they crossed over, our copies will be like they were crossed over. And you'll have a big A with a little r and a little a with a big R. Alright, so there's my other chromosomes. So you can draw those in there, and that's what I just drew. And there's 8 chromosomes. And then they split. So instead of having, so we'll have these 2 chromosomes and these 2 chromosomes go to one cell, and then these go to the other cell. Alright, so right now these, unlike the previous time we did meiosis, these are not like the new cell because of that crossing over. There's no chromosome that has big A, big R. Alright, so already there's more variety. Alright, so we have these 2 cells that have those 4 chromosomes each, and these are the letters on them. So now we have little a, big R, big A, little r, and then here our D's and H's stayed the same. And then little a, big R, big A, little r, and our D's and H's stayed the same. And there's 4 chromosomes in each cell. So now to the last part. So if we take those chromosomes and we divide them up, so this one goes to one cell, this one goes to one cell, that goes to a cell, this goes to a cell, and then on the other side we have a little a with a little r, and big A, little a, big R, and we have it with that. So now we have 4 different cells again. So we got a big A, little r, and little d, little h. We have little dh, little a, big R, and then we have big D, little h, little a, little r, and we have big A, little r, big D, little h. Alright, so again, we have 4 different cells, but not only are they different from the original cell, because they only have 2 chromosomes, but they're different from the very first cell that we did even before we did crossing over. So if we look at our original cell, they're different from this one because there is no chromosome that has big A, big R. It's now little a, big R, and big A, little r, because crossing over causes more variation. So are all the gametes the same or different? They're all different. Are all the cells the same or different? They're all different. Alright, these gametes are even different from the first set of gametes we made. So if we compare those first sets of gametes, they all have 2 chromosomes because they split the chromosomes in half, But now our genetic makeup of the one with little d, little h had a big A, big R, but now it has a big A and a little r. So you're giving a bunch of different types of genes to your kids. All right, so to finish this off, crossing over is when genes switch from one chromosome to another, and this creates variation. And variation is helpful for the species to survive, because if you get a disease come through, some of them will actually survive the disease, the virus. They won't all die, so it helps the species survive. So you're going to use these notes you're going to do one of these yourself with a different set of chromosomes and different letters, and just to make sure you understand the process of meiosis. All right, so that is it.